To the Table is back. I haven't made a video in like 6 months, and there are several reasons for that. One, my equipment was failing me. So my computer, every time I tried to film with my computer, it would drop frames and then my audio would be way off, and it was really hard to get it back lined up. And so that was really challenging, and so that was discouraging. So then I just said, you know what, I'm just gonna only do shorts and I'll film with my phone. And so I was doing that, but then it was really hard to transfer onto the computer. I think it was just the computer was getting old. The USBs didn't work well. If I like just dropped it to my computer, then I would lose a bunch of quality and it looked terrible. And I was like, no, I can't make, I want to make good videos if I'm going to make videos. So then I also was just feeling discouraged. Like I don't think I'm a good speaker. I say a lot like I just did. And, you know, I made a lot of content before, but it was my son who I was filming and then I was editing it. And he's a really good speaker. He makes me look terrible. And I had fun making the content with me and my son. It was awesome and I loved it. And I would occasionally jump in a video, but it was more for comic relief because I'm not that good of a speaker, you know? Or at least that's what I've been telling myself in my head, you know? So then I just stopped. I was like, I'm just gonna stop and, you know, maybe I just shouldn't be a video content creator. And so I stopped. But then I just kept on like thinking of these different video ideas and I'd be like, I wanna do that, I wanna do that. And I'm like, man, I really still wanna make content, but like I still have these doubts and I still have these equipment, so either I need to upgrade my equipment and maybe get out of my own way or whatever. So, you know, I'm thinking of these things. And so then I started thinking about, you know, I have some friends who do board game content, like not necessarily videos. One of them does videos, one of them actually creates board game content. He's a designer and he designs Christian board games, and my other friend makes content, but he makes Christian board game content. And I was like, you know, I kind of want to be able to bring my faith into that space, you know? And so I was really starting to think about that, and I was like, well, maybe I can get back to making videos. Maybe I can do, you know, like a little video series with my friends and, you know, interview my one friend who is a board game designer that designs Christian board games, and I could talk about that, and I could talk about how my other friend is doing full-time board game ministry, and I'm still not sure what all that means, but he's making content, and he's going to board game conventions, and he's working with Love Thy Nerd, and it's super cool. And yeah, so I mean, I was like, I could do that and then talk about different things I'm doing in that space, like, because I do also, you know, do ministry with board games. I do big events. Me and my son do big events at my church a couple times a year, and I consider that a ministry. So I was like, maybe I could, you know, do a series on that. But then I was like, but then it's done. And then I don't talk about my faith anymore. And, you know, maybe, you know, like I kind of want it to be more than that. And I was really just kind of soul searching and thinking about it. And then, you know, I was driving in the car, heading back to my hometown, and I just started thinking about how, like, maybe, you know, I could do Christian board game content all the time, you know, and like maybe I could do where every time I do a video, I could do a Bible study about something, a word or something that I, you know, think about when I think of that board game or something like that, or a topic that the board game hits or whatever. And so I started thinking about that, and I don't know if I'll do that every time, but I think that is something that I might do sometimes. Like, hey, you know, like I'm gonna, you know, do a review on maybe Vantage, and so I could think about and look at how, you know, God's vantage point is much different than ours, and maybe look in Job and, you know, and you know, talk about that or something. I don't know, but yeah, I could do that kind of stuff. And I could also interview my friends and, you know, but I could also talk about how a game might be good for a youth group or you know, something else. Or maybe this isn't a good, you know, like it really kind of goes against my faith or whatever. But I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to bring my faith in and bring Jesus into this space and not make it something that is outside of this space. Like Jesus is here, and my board games and content, is here. Like I want them to be together. So with that said, I already had a channel called To the Table, and so I also had a friend who does board game content or ministry. He actually wrote a book about bringing people to the table. Sorry guys for the jump cut, but I had to go grab my friend's book, Reclaiming the Table for Jesus by Joe Bragg. You can get this on Amazon, and this book is all about reclaiming our board game tables for Jesus. And that was really how God was starting to stir my heart when I was driving home. Like I was really thinking, like, I want to just reclaim this space, this content space, but also my board game space even more. I mean, I do some ministry stuff. I plan big board game events at the church and invite people to come to church and play board games. And it's an awesome ministry that me and my son do together. But I want to do it more. And so I really was feeling like I need to bring Jesus into this space. So that's what I did. So sorry for the cough, guys. But so I decided to do a study on table in the Bible. So I got this study tool called Logos and studied the Greek and Hebrew definitions. I read all the different places in the Bible it talks about the table, and also did some different commentary on those passages and whatnot. And the Bible talks a lot about the table and the importance of the table. I mean, think about communion. We do communion all the time, coming to the table and remembering the bread and the wine being representing of Jesus's body and the blood, and that's really important. And while I was doing this study, I came to this verse in Psalm 23. It's actually two verses, and this is what stuck out to me when I was doing that study. So I'm bringing that to you right now, and it's, "You prepare a table for me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever." So I think the reason this really stuck out to me is it had the word table in it. Just kidding. No, like the whole part about preparing the table before my enemies. And I'm not saying that every, person I play board games with is my enemy and God's preparing the way so I can destroy them all. No, it was really that God put this channel in my mind and gave the title To the Table and prepared that for me for this. But also, my enemy, it's not you guys, it's not the people I play games with, it's the devil, man. And he was really like speaking in my head like, "You're not good enough. You'll never be good enough. Look, no one's watching your videos. No one wants to watch your videos." He was like speaking those things into me, and I was feeling like, I say too much. I can't do this. No one wants to see like a, almost 50-year-old guy talk about board games. I mean, they already watched the Dice Tower. No, I'm joking about the Dice Tower. I love those guys. But so I came to that verse and I was like, you know what? God is really telling me that I need to get back in this space, but invite him to the table. And so I want to bring Jesus to the table here in my board game content. And when I play board games with my friends and wherever I go, I want to bring Jesus to the table. So that's what I'm doing here. So I hope that you guys will enjoy this content. And I might not talk about Jesus every video. Who knows? Maybe that video, it was just something I needed to say and I do it. I don't know. Maybe every video I'll have a Bible verse. I don't know. I don't want to make any promises. I just want to see where God leads me. And I do want to do some Bible studies about some games. I do want to explore, the board game world and how Christians fit into it. And so we'll see where it takes us. And so if you like the idea of me making Christian board game content, I want you to smash the like, hit the subscribe button, and then bang that little bell. And yeah, I hope you guys come back for more, and you guys have a blessed day. Bye.